I love this family.
That's a priority, a hug. I like those priorities. I'm taller than usual. I'm standing on this. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning to your resilient self for being here.
Yes. I like it.
I was thinking about that. Nice to see everybody. Are there any newcomers here today for the first time that have never been here? Oh, hi. What's your name?
Daniel.
I can't hear you because I have bad hearing.
Daniel's my name.
Daniel. Nice to meet you, Daniel. Welcome. We always like to see a new face. We like the old faces too. All right, then. We're going to go into, well, I'm going to mention this right now. The goals, the three themes for today are goals for the year, spiritual planning, and resilience. And I can hardly wait to see what's going to happen when we hear our speakers' spiritual thought and then our main speakers. It'll be very interesting. So I'm glad you're all here to take that in. All right, now we're going to have our musician today is John LaLonde, yay. And he's going to start with our meditation. And we have a little bit of music, and then we go into a silent meditation for a short period of time. So thank you, John.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, John.
So the way this works for our newcomer is I do play flute for a few minutes. It's Native American style flute. And then we go into a silent meditation. So this playing is an introduction to quieting down and meditating for a few minutes. Excuse me. This worked a moment ago.
As we breathe in and breathe out, we allow for space and we allow for the words of our speakers to enter in to the space for us, and we learn that we're living wide open in acceptance of all. few deep breaths. Can you hear me? No, I'm
No.
sorry. Okay, now you can. Sorry. So you get really quiet during the meditation and it's difficult to yell at people. But all right, here we go. So I'm just saying we're going to take some breaths in and some breaths out, and then we're going to open a space in ourselves for whatever the speakers have to tell us today, which will be wonderful and expansive for us. So, and thank you, John. That was very nice. By the way, I didn't introduce myself for those of you that don't know who I am. My name is Rev Kim Haley, and I'm the host today. Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here, but never mind. So today, now we have a wonderful spiritual thought from the wonderful Reverend Dr. Judy DeRosa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy New Year. In the Native American culture, we start our new year in the springtime. Everything blooms and starts to regenerate and become more. And our culture, the culture that we have in our society now, calls this the new year. And there's the Chinese New Year, and there's all these new ways. And I would ask you to not make resolutions, to not make false promises to yourself that you already know you're not going to keep. I would ask you to think about the positive input that you can put in your life with affirmations, knowing that each day is the gift. And in the east, when the sun rises, that is your doorway to your new day, to your present, to that gift of life that fills you and you feel it. What do we do with that time? What do we do with our day? What do we observe? Do we tap into that talent that we have? Do we paint or dance or sing? Do we write? What do we love? What did we love when we were children? We can go back to that. We can resurrect it and say, hey, I always wanted to do whatever fills your head. And take a class or join a group. We are amazing, magnificent, incredible beings. And we tend to forget that. And it's easy to forget because we have so many really big distractions. The menu's long. Everything that we focus on pulls our energy. And I'm suggesting for this new year, for you to suggest to your being, your higher self, your God within, your goddess within, your all that is, your magnificent divine being, that you'll co-create, that you'll collaborate, that if you're inspired, there's a reason for that inspiration. And when I think of the word inspired, I think of that inward spiral. When we, in the indigenous culture, make a basket, We start at the center and we whirl ourselves around and around, and we look at that as a path. That is our path, our journey. We can look back, we can look forward, and we can look presently. Weave your world into a beautiful creation that is all specifically you. Be a little selfish. You can share your you, but remember to resurrect it every morning. It's all yours. And Creator never forgets how precious, how beautiful, how worthy, how strong humanity is. Oh.
You can whip that. Get back up here and you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Thank you, Judy, that was beautiful.
Beautiful.
The Creator never forgets. Well, now we're gonna have some music from John LaLonde again, and I'm expecting, we had our flute circle last night, and we had the drum circle after, and it was so much fun last night. It was so much fun. And the music just made me feel good, because I was kind of feeling, draggy, a little draggy, and then I got here and we started playing, and we played the drum, we did the flute, and had a whole different attitude when I left. Thanks, John.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, our flute circle was very good, and I'll just mention a high point for all of us was the appearance of our very own John, harmonica playing cowboy boot wearing person. We were talking about vibrato, just how you make a note, kind of, not sound like a mechanical thing, but kind of an emotional thing. And John came, we had a harmonica, and he demonstrated incredible vibrato from where it happens in your body, and it was kind of a master class in vibrato. It was just wonderful. John, thank you for being there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play something with a backing track by Clint Goss. A backing track, just for people who don't know, is just a recording that someone makes specifically to accompany a particular instrument or instruments in general. These are made specifically for Native American style flutes. Clint Goss is one of the teachers and mentors that I really respect. So this is by Clint Goss. It is entitled Powwow Sunrise.
turn the volume down, I'll talk right after, right with it.
Backing tracks go from one to the other, so.
I hear you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And now we have our main speaker today, Rev Lujuana.
Run!
I'm gonna move this.
Okay, all right, I don't need it.
You don't need it.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So good to see you this morning. Whoa. Feel like I've already been in church. Because I have. Because we have. That was so stunning. Judy, thank you. John, oh my gosh. And you, Missy, getting us all started. So the themes have been mentioned: goals for the year, spiritual planning, and resilience. Now, I'm going to ask a silly question. Have you ever tried again? Of course we have. Try it again. I did it. Oh, well, I'll try again. It didn't turn out exactly as I wanted it. I'll try again. We all do that. Everyone does that, whether we're learning music or just making breakfast. That's so close. One of the things that it says about resilience, when I looked it up, was that it's kind of like a development of toughness. And I thought, well, I must be hanging out with buoyancy still, because I think of resilience got a little bounce to it. that trying again has a bit of strength to it. So maybe that's where that toughness comes from. I find us all to be very resilient. And occasionally, I notice that we might not notice the resilience that we actually have because our focus is on what we presently think we don't have. That happens sometimes too. And isn't that the way of being human sometimes? Is we can so easily focus on what we are not when we are already essential to life. We're here. Life expressing uniquely and all the blessings that entails. I'm going to take you back to some beginning stories. In the beginning, God created. And God said, let there be. And let there be, and let there be, and let there be, and let there be, and let there be. And all that God created was good. The light and the dark, the heavens and the earth, the sky and the water, the land that produces all manner of vegetation, and all the living animals, the birds, the fishes, and the creepy crawlies. All the seed-bearing creations God created. And God created us in God's image and likeness. And God rested. And we are made in the image and the likeness of God and in God's nature. We are of the substance and the essence. Sometimes you'll hear about how each of us has a dormant Christ consciousness within us. That's what I've heard over the years in our teaching. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I personally hesitate to make such statements because I find my human intention goes on dormant. It focuses on what I think is the not, that I'm not ready yet, that it hasn't happened yet, that it's not here yet. And so I kind of I personally choose not to make such statements, but only to use them in contrast, because I did make this statement, didn't I? Only in contrast to help us to see if you agree that as humans, we can have this focus on the what is not yet. Sometimes you'll hear about the egos getting in the way of God's activity. I also hesitate to go there most of the time. And the reason I hesitate to go there is because I don't want to set up any power to be greater than God's power. I don't want to set up the ego to be able to trump in my mind, in my human mind. Oh, the ego's trumping God. No, because the human aspect of me can get stuck on the what is not yet view rather than what is. Are we alive? Yes. Do we have dominion? Number one, I am. I am that I am. The next thing that we come to is, are we guided? Can we have peace of mind even if we don't know the way yet? Even if we don't know the way, can we have peace of mind? Can we know that we are guided? That we'll know when we know? And that if it's not here yet in exactly the full view, we're okay. Because we're guided. It's going to come clear. It's going to come clear. If it hasn't yet, am I okay in the midst of it not coming clear yet? Yes. Do I have the strength to say my yes and say my no? Do I have the strength to stand up for myself and stand up for someone else? Do I have the strength to follow what I know is good for me? These are all things we already have. We already are. We are these things. Do I have a heart that knows how to love the people that we love? I was sharing a story just recently about a person who found out not only that they had a heart that loved, but they were love. And we're love. We can love. Oh my gosh, folks. This is already going on every day. I hate to state the obvious, but I'm really good at stating the obvious. Is that we already are loving. We can't help it. Who doesn't have their favorite? The thing they love. Whether it be their work, whether it be their play, whether it be their people. And it goes on and on and on. By the way, I've only covered the first 4 chakras right there. That was the first chakra, second, third, and fourth. We can go 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, okay, 8's outside the body. How can we say that? Well, because the body's ethereal. It may be larger than our physical form. 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 disciples, 12 notes, 12 zodiac signs. It's not about numbers. It's about what those qualities are that we already are. I'm so thrilled in that. So we already are. Some of the things I spoke about. Yeah, I'm passing on that one. Never mind. Can't get back there from where we are now, so we'll just let it go. Just let it go. The most important thing that I wanted to share to finish that was that I pray my words are freeing and centering and reassuring that what was created in the beginning is still and now this nature that we get to live from. God is, we are, and what God is, we are. Joe and I are reading 2 books right now. That we're reading This Thing Called You, and we're reading Practical Spirituality at the same time. We're only going through a couple pages each morning, and then we chat. And then next morning, we go through a couple more pages. Some mornings we skip, but then we come back to it, read a couple more pages and visit about it. Our conversations have been so nourishing and enjoyable, thanks to what the authors have conveyed, that I'm inspired because sometimes we introduce classes and we do it in the spring and we do it in the fall, but I kind of was a little shy on the fall classes this time. So it makes me want to introduce something for this winter. So if anyone is interested in setting up little partnering, it can be 2 people, it can be 3 people, it can be by phone, by Zoom, it can be in person, to where you might want to weekly or daily or whenever you choose, just partner up for a little bit of sharing. And because we have just been so moved by what these authors are sharing, to help us be reminded that we already are. That we already are what we've been created to be. So, I'll come back to that. It can be over coffee, it can be over wine, it can be. Point is I'll support you in any way I can if you're interested in something like that. It doesn't even have to be these books. It can be whatever you want it to be. It's just that coming together and that reminder that can be so powerful. You could say that this practice that Joe and I have been participating in has opened us up. I heard that earlier. Opened us up and remind us of even deeper ways of our source designated, our source designed nature. And this is definitely part of my spiritual planning. Joe and I lived in Clovis for 20 years before we moved here. We've been here now 8 years, by the way, loving it. I know, is that mind blowing?
No, it was.
I know,
Fast.
it went so fast. And when January came around at home, sometimes, not every year, but sometimes December to January, Joe and I would do some goal setting. And we would powwow over the kitchen table, and we would do this goal setting, and then we'd write it down. And one year I remember vividly that we had written it down, and this wasn't the first year that we had goal set. You know, there was some resilience involved. There were a couple times before that where we had done this, but this time we had done the goal setting, and the goals were posted behind the calendar. Not in front of it, actually behind it. Just sticking on the nail, and then the calendar's there. And somewhere near the end of the year, I pulled it out, and we looked at it together. And we had made goals that were related to traveling, to career, for spiritual growth, for financial abundance, for creative expression. We had set these goals for ourselves. And as I looked over that list, every single one of them had happened. And we never visited the list during the year. We only made it at the beginning. And then we went about our living. But that's how powerful being open to it coming from our heart's desires can be. Now, we each mined for those heart's desires as we chatted in our daily lives. And frankly, it's because of this teaching. It's been the Science of Mind teaching that has been our practice for 30-something years. We met Angelo and Sandy. We met y'all at the little church, the church in Fresno that was a Positive Living Center with Tom and Gisela. And we've been part of Science of Mind ever since. And for me, Science of Mind just points us to who and what we already are. And it does a really good job of opening us up to that. To this day, I am still in awe of the magnificence of Source's creations. And yet, thanks to these teachings, where we can have spontaneous fulfillment or gradual fulfillment, and there is no judgment of either one. Spontaneous and gradual in these fulfillments of heart's desires and being creative in this life. I am in awe of the magnificence, but I'm no longer surprised. There is a sense of expectancy, grateful, joyous, just not surprised. Family and friends and new acquaintances and friends are continuing to support my wrap-up of closing out the office in Fresno. The movers have helped me with, and they were wonderful, with getting all the confidential files out and everything. And talk about good energy. The owner of the business, I'm at the back of their truck. We're talking about little logistics, and he's telling me about thinking positively. Just knowing, having a sense of expectancy. And he's on that topic, and he says, and I'm talking to my wife and my daughter about it, because I really see it working in my life. And he talked about a friend who had given him an idea of faith, having faith. And you could just feel the lift in this guy. He had some lift to him. And then the young man that was helping him walked up to the truck. And I was led to tell a little bit of the Jackie story, which is a very spontaneous fulfillment of desire story. And I told him just a little bit of it, highlights. I basically said, when we first started talking with this young lady, she thought she should already be married, should have found the guy that she was wanting to be with, and she was frankly a little bitter about the guys that she had been met lately that didn't work out. We visited very briefly, actually for an entire dinner, but to make the story abridged, we visited and I said, honey, there's a guy out there that hasn't had the best first experiences with ladies, with women. He's not finding this right away either. And I said, what happens if he goes bitter? Then we got two bitter people. What happened if you guys rub off on other people while you're in that dude? We got more bitter people. We don't want more bitter people in the world, do we? And I told him this, I said, but here's what happened. She got clear that that guy was possible. Her faith was activated so strong, her clarity that he was looking for her just as much as she was looking for him was so strong, he showed up in 3 days. He showed up in 3 days. And she showed up at my office 6 days later without knowing where my office was. Because I didn't share that with her. She just happened to, the universe had her walking through my door without knowing that it was my door. She gave me a big point and said, you! I had to share that. I didn't share that with the guy in the back of the truck, so I'm gonna get back to the back of the truck. But it was just such a strong moment, I had to share it. Back to the back of the truck. I said, this lady's faith moved mountains. The young man that was there, I have to tell you, young people of today that are not quite sure if they want to fit in to what we adults have going on, like, moving services, that's heavy work. I'm not sure if I want to do that. His face was a little like this before. And he was doing the work, and he's a good guy, don't get me wrong. I could tell he wouldn't have been working with with the owner if he wasn't he's a great guy, but his face was showing a little lifelessness, just a little. The minute I mentioned what happened with Jackie's story, his face came alive. It stole the show. I saw nothing else going on with the owner and the back of the truck and the logistics and everything except that young man's face. He was alive. And it was all about witnessing God in action, witnessing this life presence that's all of us happening right before your eyes in this story that I had shared. He was illumined. It also helped that I was telling that the guy that showed up for Jackie 3 days later was a mover. He was a furniture mover. And so that made the story have even more impact at the moment. Look how, when she shifted her focus, look at what and who showed up. So what used to seem miraculous has come to be as natural as the sun rising and setting, which we now know is Earth encircling the sun at a very rapid speed, but it's still sun rising and sun setting. I love that there's more to the story of life than we can fathom sometimes, and then we fathom it. And then there's potentially more to the story of life than we can fathom sometimes, and then we fathom it. In this thing called you, pages 21 through 22, Ernest Holmes writes, Jesus was very explicit in his teachings of the use of faith. He said, if you ask for bread, you will not receive a stone. This is equal to saying, if you plant a rose bush, it will not become a lemon tree. The law of faith operates with integrity on the definite idea, thought, expectancy, and acceptance implanted in it. But the seed must be left in the creative soil of mind until it can mature. There is a time for sowing as well as a time for harvest. Plants must not be pulled up or interrupted in the process of their growth. They must be watered with hope, fertilized with expectancy, and cultivated with enthusiasm, gratitude, and joyous recognition. If the law operates automatically, then you do not coerce, concentrate, or compel it. You provide mental attitudes which it may operate upon. You do not hold the law in place. You hold your ideas in place. This is your individual effort. Your concentration is not on the law because that is already here. It is right where you are. It is within you as well as around you. This concentration is not coercion, but a good-natured flexibility with yourself, gradually eliminating doubt, fear, uncertainty, and replacing them with certainty, assurance, recognition, and gratitude. This process is not so much a problem of will as it is one of willingness. The only important role the will plays in this decision to keep thought poised long enough to permit the law to operate this is not a prayer of beseechment, but a recognition or acknowledgement of right action. Faith is the most important thing in your life. It is impossible to arrive at the grandeur of its possibility through petty thinking and small ideas. The whole mental scope must be broadened and deepened. The whole expectancy must reach out to more. The whole imagination must lend its feeling to grateful acceptance and joyous recognition. All thoughts of suffering for righteousness' sake, all beliefs that you are being tempted or tried to see if you are worthy of the gifts of life are mistaken concepts of the way this law works. Life wishes to make the gift, because in so doing, it is flowing into its own self-expression. You might say that gravity wishes to hold an object in place because this is its nature. As a matter of fact, it cannot help doing so. Let's trust our nature. And so it is.
wonderful. Oh, there's so much in there. I was really relaxed listening to your voice, and I took in a lot of things that you said and processing them now. It's all wonderful. We have so many wonderful people here at the PLC. We're so lucky. We really are. I guess now we're going to be doing the offertory. So I need 2 people to come up and take these baskets for us and walk up and down the aisle. And I see one person, have another person who has the energy to make it up and down the aisle here. Great. Cheer. Yay, so we'll do the offertory. Divine love flowing through me,
blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive.
And those on Zoom, you may tithe by going into the iFocus, the email that you received, and pushing the green button. It has easy instructions on how to donate funds to the PLC. And you can send a check to also the Positive Living Center, P.O. Box 2683, Oakhurst, California, 93644. Lots of numbers there. And so that helps us keep everything moving. But things are moving because we had such a turnout, today and last night. It was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, I don't know how many people were here, but it was close to 25 or something.
Oh, beautiful. It's exciting.
So that was really amazing. And the drum circle, and then our flute circle started at that. And I think people, as they know more about the flute circle, which you're welcome to come to.
Yes.
And if you don't have a flute, you can just come and listen and enjoy it. And we mentioned that Tammy had come and she rested on on 4 of the chairs and listened. So it was really encouraging, and she liked it a lot. Thank you. Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Do we have any announcements? Okay, we have one already.
I might as well just stay up here
Because you're
for a
here.
second.
Do you want to use the microphone so people can hear you?
On Zoom?
All right.
On the second Saturday of the month, here at the Positive Living Center, we have the flute circle at 2 o'clock. You do not have to have a flute to participate. John has flutes. Or you can bring your harmonica like John Stanley. And when you come to listen or fill yourself with that sound and vibration. And John is a really good teacher. We are getting some great flute tubes, just saying. And then after that, at 3:30, we set up and we start our drum circle. And the drum circle starts with ceremony, and then we go into drumming. And it is about remembering who we really are. And you are welcome. It's from 4 to 5. Come if you like. You don't have to have a drum. We have a big mother drum, small hand drums, rattles. Come. We'd love to have you.
Beautiful.
And Laura, you wanted to make an
This
announcement?
women's group is on hiatus this week.
Sorry?
Women's group is
Oh,
on
the women's
hiatus
group is
this
on
week.
hiatus this week.
This week only.
Okay, this week only. Did everyone hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, all righty then. I think we are going to, I want to announce that our prayer partner this week for today after is Reverend Judy DeRosa. And usually we meet in the room over there, I call it the library, but it's a meditation room. And in the corner, if you like. But if you have no time, we also have a frog box. You can put a request for prayer for something that you want some support in. And equally, there's other ministers available, and also online, we have everybody's phone number. Isn't that right? All the ministers are there.
Within the link.
Within the link. And if you haven't given your email address, you can give it to LJ right here, and she will let you know of upcoming events and who's gonna, you'll get a reminder of our service on Sunday, and they'll let you know who's speaking and so forth. So it's it's a good thing. It's a way of getting connected. All righty, and so next week's speaker is Reverend Bob Hand. So you want to be here for that. And now we're going to do the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yes. Now we have some more music, John, and I think that's it. Did I miss anything today? I tried to behave.
No, you got it.
Good.
Well, I'm gonna use another backing track that was put together by Stephen DeRuby. For those who don't know, Stephen DeRuby passed on a few years ago. He was a singer, songwriter, flute maker, wonderful flute player, and wonderful flute teacher and mentor to many of us. He also made a CD of rhythm backing tracks for playing Native American flutes. So I'm going to use one of his backing tracks here, and I'm going to use a flute. I want to introduce. I haven't played it. I don't know that I've played it in the service before, but it is a drone flute. It has two tubes, one's long, one's short. It has 3 holes on one side and 4 on the other, and you can play them independently or together. So this song I've entitled Right, Left, Center. You can probably guess what's going to happen. All right. Shakers, Bells, and Drum by Stephen DeRuby.
pretty sound, such a pretty song. I also want to thank all of our speakers today, our musician, John, and saying it's so wonderful, and all of you for being here, and your presence is so welcome to us. So it's nice. Go and have a wonderful week, and I want to invite Reverend Sandy up to give us our closing prayer.
No, I'm good. I like being short.
Oh, thank you, speakers today. All three of you were brilliant, and it just really gave me so much to think about. And I love that when I walk away with things to think about and to muse over. So join with me, please. As we sit here together, gathering with our beloved family, we allow our hearts to open more and more and more, embracing everyone here, filling this sanctuary with our love and our light, our caring, our gentleness, our understanding, allowing it all to radiate out into the world, all around the world, down to the center of Earth, and up into the cosmos. We here in our little patch in Oakhurst can make a difference. And we make that difference in this world through our 24/7 lovingness. The world needs more love, and we are here to give it every bit of it that we can. I am so grateful for the hearts in this congregation. Grateful for your caring, grateful for your openness and your light. Go forth and share that with the world. It's desperately needed. And we do make a difference. And I give such glorious thanks for that which is ours. And say with me, please. And so it is.
Lovely to see you, and so we'll see you again next week, we hope. And have a wonderful week ahead. We love seeing you. And good afternoon. It is now well, it's actually 11 still. You can probably rush to the new restaurants and get in. Have a nice breakfast.
Thanks, Susan.